you doing? This is Study on a Blues in A. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you the shuffle pattern rhythm in A, in the 12-bar pattern, with an A chord and a D chord and an E chord. Then we're going to play an A7 chord, a D7 chord, and an E7 chord. Then we're going to play what considered like a blues riff, which has like a... So what I'm doing is giving you a blues 3 different ways. With a shuffle pattern like this, with the 7th chords, and with a riff. Alright, so let's get started. The first chord you're going to be playing is called A5, and when you ever see a 5 after a chord symbol like A5, D5, all that means is this. There are 3 tones in a chord, the root and the 3rd and the 5th, and there will be a theory lesson. You'll be able to look this up as well. That would make up a chord, a root and a 3rd and a 5th. Well, if you take out the 3rd, what's left is the root and the 5th. What does all that mean? Well, there's 8 notes in a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 8 notes. So you take the first note, the 3rd note, and the 5th note, and you play them together. That makes a chord. 3 notes in a chord. If you take out that 3rd, now you have just the root and the 5th left. That's what the 5 stands for. So when I play just this A note and an E together, that creates what's called an A5 chord. And this would be D5, and this would be E5. Now versus playing the whole chord, now there's a lot of different notes in there. You can see there's a root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. Okay, so A5, we're going to do the shuffle pattern. You can see at the beginning there's an 8th note equals a quarter note and then an 8th note with the triplet symbol. And that sounds like this. Like a horse walking. Versus, that's called straight 8s. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and straight 8s, swing 8s, or shuffle pattern. Like a blues or a jazz kind of feeling. Okay, what you do is the first finger's here, the 3rd finger is going to come over in place on the 4th fret on the 4th string, and it sounds like this. All down picks, only 2 strings. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the D. And later on it's the same thing on the E. So when I say D, what that means is the D note is the open, lowest sounding note, and then I'm playing the A note here with it. Those 2 notes together create D5. If I take my first finger and I put it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and that's a B note with a low E together, that creates what's called E5. So if we go through our 12-bar form, I put this example at 90. I'm just going to go down to 70 right now as the example, and we'll do a practice. 1, 2, 3, go. Now we're going to go on to the 7th chord. So what you want to do is, before I move on, that first one with the shuffle pattern, you want to try to work that up to 90 and eventually 100 or 120. So go as fast as you can, but always use a metronome and incrementally go up. Now, using the 7th chords. The first chord is A7. What you're going to do is bar the first finger at the 2nd fret and take your 3rd finger and put it on the G note on the top string. And you play the top 5 strings. Sounds like A7. When you go to D7, the 3rd finger stays on that string, and you're going to slide it back to the 2nd fret and form the little triangle shape that makes D7, and that's the top 4 strings. Then later on we have E7, and everybody has to move first fingers on the G sharp note, which is the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and the 2nd finger is on the B note, which is the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and there's E7. Okay, so those are the 3 chords, and the format is the same. This is called a 12-bar format, or a blues, so you want to kind of get used to the way this sounds. Here's the A7, and the rhythm we're going to do is this: down, up, skip, up, down, up, skip, up, down, up. Okay, so I'm not going to go through everything on this one because it's the same form. I'm just going to go ahead and play it at 70 for you, and we'll do a rehearsal. Here it is, 2, ready, go. Okay, so you can work on that one. It's 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Try to get that up to speed. The last example on this study in a blues in A is called the blues riff. What we're going to do now is play a single note line through it. So there's not going to be any chords in this. It's all just single notes. But the thing that's going to make this more interesting is we have to use more fingers, and we have to use alternate picking with our pick. So, for instance, it's going to start on the A string open. We're going to do 2 A's, then you're going to play second finger on the C note, and then third finger on the C sharp, like this. Now, first finger on the E, the third finger on the F sharp, and back to the E. So I'm going to do this really slow so you can kind of get an idea. Alternate pick the whole time, the fingering's down here, like this. You'll notice that my first finger stays on that E note the whole time. Okay, so check that one more time. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, same thing, starting on the 4th string, D note. Starting on the E note. It's a really cool way to start expanding your repertoire because it's the same riff with the same finger pattern every time. You just have to change strings. So now at 70, we're going to do a rehearsal on this one. Ready? 2, 3, go. I'll start again. I didn't go to the D chord. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so there you go. This is a study on a blues in A. We've got it 3 different ways. What I'm going to do is speed this up to 90 now, and I'm just going to play each section back to back. And if you can follow along with me, that's great. Or use the GP6 file that I'm sending along, or you can download, and you can slow the GP6 file down and play along with it and then speed it up, or use a metronome. Either way you want to do it. Alright, so here it is at 90. I hope this was interesting, and we're going to progress through a lot of different blues here, so hang in there. watching Blues in A. I hope that was helpful. I'll see you in the next video.